Hey Eric, how are you, sir?
Doing pretty good, man. How are you?
Doing well, doing well. Just came back from a little Costa Rican bachelor party. It's got a little refreshing. Ready to get back in the game again.
Costa Rican, eh? How was that?
It's fun. Nice little surf town. Got in the water a lot, and yeah, had a great time.
You stay at a hotel or an Airbnb?
It was kind of like a mix. One of those ones that has like a few of the large houses. We had like 16 guys. It was huge, huge party. So one of the ones that's like a mini casa, a little your own pool, your own little kitchen. It was sweet. It's a good time.
Nice. It's always nice when you can have like privacy amongst the public places, even the luxury places.
Yeah, exactly. Nothing's too luxe there in Costa Rica. It's still still feel very fortunate being over here, but absolutely beautiful country. I've never been in like the jungle like that. Absolutely amazing. What's so deep in the jungle? Entire little villages, 3 miles, 5 miles up the mountain.
Yeah, and you get the hybrid like secluded plus luxury, which is like when I travel, I like to go to places that are quiet. I don't like noisy places. So like, I've always appreciated going out to a place that's quiet. And so I think but at the same time you want to have the luxury of amenities. So it's always cool when you can get the best of those on like at a place.
Yeah, exactly. Do you have a favorite hotel brand while we're at it, or are you more Airbnb then?
I actually like the hybrid. So Cian Khan in like Tulum, Mexico is like they have actually an all-inclusive resort, but they're built as like private villas. So I think like the ideal Airbnb model is probably something closer to that. We have a bunch of private luxury homes within like a gated atmosphere, but you have all of the same like room service and concierge services that you expect at like a high end resort. And so that brand delivers on that type of experience, which I really like. I mean, they'll even send a golf cart to like the front of your villa and pick you up and then drive you to the golf course. And it's like, oh yeah, that's pretty awesome, right? Like you don't get that at like a hotel where you're going up 50 floors to your room and you're all cramped
Hold on,
in
I
and you're all
forgot. I
floor
forgot to
above
put
floor.
on Do Not Disturb. What'd you say about the golf course there? I lost you for a second.
Oh, I was saying that they'll even like send a golf cart to the front of like your villa of your home, pick you up, and then like drive you to the golf course that's like connected to it. So it's a lot more of like an intimate experience than like staying at a hotel that has like 36 floors and you're all just stacked on top of one another.
Oh yeah, for
Right.
sure.
So
Yeah, when they have the
I do,
hit
man.
everybody by name type service, everybody that picks you up, everyone you interact with has that personal touch. It's a
Yeah.
good feeling.
The occupancy is not overcrowded, right? Where it's like you can have a chat with bartenders and it's not jam packed.
Yeah,
So
exactly. That was my job for a long, long time, hitting the bars, and the ones that were always a lot, more inviting and in a better time were obviously the more inclusive, the ones that made you feel like VIPs, obviously, and the ones that made you want to stay.
oh, 1,000%, absolutely. I think you know the the more immersive you make an experience, when you're traveling from check-in to ambiance to you know, as I said, all of those things to have dining and all of these things. I want all of them. Some people want them, in heavily condensed areas that are more partier. Some people like them, like as you said, in Costa Rica, where you can get luxury plus, um, peacefulness and the variety for everyone.
Exactly. Speaking of that, Travelers Club is based in Tulum, up into Cancun. The Riviera Maya area. Do y'all want to talk about the areas you're throwing parties and have a few hotels you're working with? It kind of hits that point that we're discussing at the moment.
Yeah, I don't want to interrupt. I just entered the chat, entered the space, but I'm trying to merge hotels. Yeah, as you said, with some. tourism companies as Blue Dreams is a transportation company, and Signatures, a tour company that works with some hotels in Rivera Maya and Aldea Sama. It's based in Tulum, and we're trying to offer for the rarest traits in the NFTs. Some hotel nights including tours with different benefits like spas or uh, different options like diving or ATVs, zip lines, cenotes, and for the most common ones, access and discounts with the same brands we're working with. So every NFT collector can enjoy different services from us. But how are you, man? How's everyone?
Doing good, man. Doing good. Crypto, how you doing, buddy? Crypto Keto, I see you up here, brother.
Fantastic. I come at this little bit different angle than all of you guys that are putting out project. I'm investing in them and
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Hello? Can you hear me now?
We can hear you, Crypto, or T-Far. You're
We hear you
crypto a
clearly.
little bit there, but we can hear you.
Everybody can hear everyone.
Yes, sir.
Did I get rugged?
No problem. Yeah, so I just wanted to share my excitement in the space, and we are extremely early, and I think by growing the space through community on Discord and on on Twitter Space, I think it's just fantastic, and I'm really looking forward to everything that you guys have to bring up with your projects, and I think you're all so far the ones that I'm involved in. You're doing it the right way as far as building the engagement before you're releasing too much on the NFT front, because obviously you don't want to flop once you release. You want to have products to offer that people are willing to go and start using, because I think the mentality is still a little bit on the the pump and dump in the NFT world, and I think we're slowly moving away from that and more of based around a project that you believe in and care about. And I'm really looking forward to everything that you guys have to bring to the table.
Thank you, Crypto Keto. I appreciate that. You've been a supporter for quite a few weeks now, and I appreciate you always adding your contributions to this space. But question for you: what exactly got you started within this hospitality space? Kept coming back. I know you said we're offering that value first, and that is something all these projects have in common. But do you have a background in hospitality or hotels, or what got you interested in the hospitality space to begin with?
Well, besides the fact that I believe everyone should work in the hospitality when they're young, so that they appreciate it a little bit more when they get older, like I am. It's my love of going out to eat, restaurant, and in the hotel. I think you get displaced and into a different reality when you're on vacation, and whether or not people are aware of that when they're going on vacation. I think it kind of happened, and that's what got me going. And I think that was you know like I'm involved in the restaurant in Miami there that's trying to launch, and some of you guys project. And I think it's kind of the next move. You kind of have like the art world, the music, and then we're kind of moving into hospitality and that sort of engagement. And then you also have like the whole storytelling part. Like I'm involved in Tom Billiard's project on that front, and it's just I was listening to some of the broadcasts from NFTLA, and everything that's coming up. It's just so much excitement in the space, and to be able to be on the ground level of some of these projects, it's just so exciting.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I appreciate all your high praise, and everyone's got a long way to go, but like you said, we're all here doing it the right way, building first. We're actually about to announce our little partnership with our, I guess we can say it, Land Vault, who's building our hotels. We're going to announce, a little sneak peek of how everything's coming along, and we're still literally in shape to release our complete version of these 3 hotels within the month of April. And that's a month, probably 2 months before we release our NFTs. So yeah, exactly. Show the value first, and build the community from there. I just want to touch on something you mentioned at the beginning of that. There is everybody should work in hospitality. I am a strong believer of that too, because of just flat out the communication skills you learn from it, and how to deal with people, how to deal on your toes, because every night's different. You're always going to have, unfortunately, maybe someone that's upset, maybe something you have to fix within seconds, and just how you respond to that is key. And that kind of shapes your future. So if it's not a long-term career, I'd agree. Like, throughout high school, I started as a busboy. I moved my way up through management, and eventually got to travel the world because of hospitality. So it's a great industry. There's so many opportunities, but at the same time, it's life-changing. You learn so much in the space.
Yeah, especially how to deal with stress. If you can't stand the heat, gotta get out of the kitchen.
That's for sure. There's 2 sides of that too. Back of house versus front of house. It's 2 different types of stress. You got your chef to worry about, or you got the customers to worry about. So I think the ones that are in the industry definitely know how those games are played. But that's also the fun part about it.
Yeah, and I was on the wait staff front, so you get it from your customer and you get it from the chef. You get your hand banged up. It's like that door going in the kitchen. It swings both ways.
Exactly. Yeah.
So then, you have a bunch of people in here that are all either building projects or enjoy going on vacation and doing it. So what long term, right? What does competition look like? Who wins? I mean, it's almost like the same metrics, right? It's those who can curate the guest experience in a way that makes it so that their platform, hotel brand, or whatever, whatever that is utilized an asset, and it is utilized, right? And I think a lot of people associate that with like maybe some people associate with like a well done, check-in process, or a nice soft bed, right? There's things that I think we like mentally put in our heads when we think of like vacation or like checking in, right? Some of those more intimate moments, or like some people think about like dinner or dining as something when they go on vacation. It's something that they immediately think about as like an activity they're going to do, right? And a lot of the times, when these things are used on vacation, usually they're not, but sometimes they're not in tandem with another. And what I mean is that like the hotel you're staying at may not be the place in which you're dining at, and so you're opening yourself up to 2 separate experiences, but they're not tied underneath the same hospitality brand, right? Just because you stay at a Hilton, you walk across the street to an Outback, the experiences aren't tied. But I think the whole point I'm getting at is that the most successful brands in the world, right, from hospitality side and luxury resorts, curate all of those experiences under one roof, right? And they manage the intimacy of like your check-in experience, like your wake up, to how you get your coffee, and then what your lunch reservations look like, and the things you may want to do for entertainment. And so I'm really interested to see, as this all bridges to Web3, you can't, there's like music, music is the space between the notes. That's kind of like all of these projects are music, but not all of them are actually like melodies that people are going to listen to and want to interact with, that like create that sense of emotion. I don't know if that makes sense, because it's separate from like the labor stuff and like all of these other costs. These are, I think, that like as leaders in space, like, and as I think, like, if you miss on these things, you actually don't have anything. You'll have maybe
No,
used once.
yeah, it definitely makes sense. I mean, a huge part of hospitality, to get from 4 stars to 5 stars is not a huge difference. you really have to get perfect on, your Forbes test. And the difference there is pretty much anticipating the guest needs. So with what you're saying there is knowing where they want to be ahead of time, where they're going to have dinner. If you're picking them up in a golf cart, knowing what time and the names of the guests involved. It's all about knowing what your guests will want next, and if exactly what you said, if you can curate that experience, then you're set for life. You earned a customer for life.
And you think would you agree that that's expected in Web3 as well? That doesn't go away. That it's expected in the, when you're building a Web3 project, that you bring that experience in your Discord, you bring it in life in your virtual events. Like you just have to embody that so much more, because typically you only have to do that when somebody checks in on site, right? But prior to that, it's kind of like marketing, and your influence and you're touching the guest is not really intimate. And in Web3, we have to be in front of our people all the time and give them information. And so I think it's going to raise the bar. It's going to be something that, like, it's already hard to do, but now you're going to have to do it in like Discord environments and Twitter, where you're not used to having to curate that.
I think that's where the wallet comes in, and the NFT that you have of different project or different restaurant. If you look as more like you're mentioning the hotel and the Outback. Well, let's say you have an NFT from Outback, an NFT from the hotel, and you might have made your reservation in the Metaverse at those places, or at a concierge that would be in the Metaverse. And then by having the NFT and presenting your wallet at check-in, then they know, what, for lack of a better term, what you're about, or what you like, what you enjoyed. You enjoyed the soft pillow, the hard pillow, a wake up call, a newspaper, electronic paper, your temperature at a certain set. These could all, if you guys take the wallet experience and the communication between the project to a level where it can be seamless from a user experience. I think that's a win-win at the reservation time, where you're going in Web3 in the metaverse, at the hotel that's in the metaverse that represent a location or a brand, where you see what you are about to experience, make your reservation, and then once you're on site, you're instead of checking in and showing your credit card and your ID, it could be done because you have the NFT, or you're already KYC in that world. I think that's the future, in my opinion.
Oh, 100%. I think concierge is a huge onboarding process for hotels within Web3, as well as restaurants, hospitality as a whole. And just like you said, it's a curation from, anticipating the guest needs, making sure, if they want to be on, throughout the experience, they can still. You just have to anticipate their needs a little bit differently, and if you know more information about them, obviously the better you can curate the experience to personalize each and every situation they may touch. But yeah, it's going to be a very, very similar space where, if say, it's their birthday, it's the concierge job to communicate that to every single person possible. So their birthday is celebrated on every single possible occasion. So yeah, that's a huge point of I think bridging the gap between hospitality and Web3. Sonny, what's up? I saw you had your hand there for a little bit.
Oh, hey guys, thank you for letting me speak. First of all, love what you guys doing. I've been in this industry for about 15 years, worked under some Michelin star chefs, and like worked around the world for almost a little bit. And I'm listening to you guys talk, and I just want to piggyback on what Crypto said, and you guys were talking about the guest experience and curating it. Like we talk about having a concierge in the metaverse, and like that concierge does everything, but like, you know why not like think about taking the approach that Selfient is taking with an employment dex, and then piggybacking that, like when you make a reservation through Opera, you put all your customizations inside an Opera. And if your NFT project is basically like based on a blockchain, and everything is stored on that block, so running a PMS software that's based on an AI blockchain, that could just take your NFT and pull all the creds through that and publicly like upload it. So like he Crypto was saying, you take your wallet instead of checking in, you're just scanning a QR code and you're automatically checked in, your door's ready to go. If it's like, if you're like you guys were talking about, like some of the resorts down in Mexico, if you look at what Marriott Bonvoy did with the one up in Bora Bora, where like they're selling the lobby art collection as NFTs. I think that would be something like that would create much of a seamless user experience rather than having like a concierge in Metaverse. What are your thoughts on that?
I think that's definitely a good point. There's going to be every hotel is going to do it differently. I think that's another good case of onboarding is, saying what you're saying is just having, say an NFT gallery, say in the front desk area of the hotel, and that's kind of like their introduction to it. So next time you can use this to check in and do everything. Is that how you're picturing
Yeah,
it?
like I'm just like what I'm trying to say is like like how I'm not sure like if you guys have ever worked in like the front desk operation, like in a hotel. But like like when we see the run up, you see how the night auditor goes in at the night and he does all those inputs and opening up the PM accounts and moving up the PM accounts of the hotel to making sure that the next day is all set ready to go. Instead of doing that, like everything is like done by a blockchain, which is an AI powered blockchain, and that could just take everything from it. I don't know. I'm not sure if you guys
Oh,
have
okay,
worked.
yeah. So
Yeah,
yeah, all the operations, of course.
yeah,
Hopefully,
like
we can do it all on the blockchain, but
yeah, like
that's
talking about like I think what I'm more talking about is like a dehos, like a dehospify model where it's a decentralized hospitality model instead of just having like have to do like that on a separate issue, right? I'm not sure if you guys have like checked out this project. It's called Metaverse, and what they are building is an immersive shopping experience, right? Now, imagine, like you could just take that and integrate it into an NFT based collection where you could create like a 3D model where, like if the guest wants to check out the room and just have that, they could just go through it and, do that. Something like that, like because like when we're talking about like when I'm talking about hospitality and blockchain, like we know that uh, mom and pops are not going to do it. The Mr. Chan, the regular restaurant, Chinese restaurant on the street, is not going to be able to do it because, it's a little cost effective too. Like you got to also think about how much money somebody's willing to put on this because the way I see the future of hospitality go is like you got
what we lost you
the
there,
artists and
Sonny.
such like that. Oh, can you hear me now?
Yep.
Yeah, so like when I look at the future of like my industry, which is the hospitality industry, and look at the future of blockchain in it, we looking at every single restaurant, which is like at least like a like a haute cuisine restaurant, like a 1 star or 2 star Michelin, even like a James Beard award winning chef is gonna have his own graphic artist who's gonna create his own NFT line. Like I don't know if you guys have heard about Andre Chang, who did the first ever NFT dinner up in Singapore. He's the guy who owns the restaurant Andre. He's a 3 Michelin star chef. Like so these guys are gonna come in and they're gonna change the whole ball game of hospitality. So how do you think that like a regular hotel, which is selling margaritas, on a beach in Mexico, is gonna be able to compete with something like that?
I think everyone can offer, their own options, whether you're a Marriott or a boutique hotel by itself. It's kind of the same way I'm looking at, metaverse hospitality as a whole. I know Marriott's going to come in. I know Hyatt's going to come in and disrupt the game. We're prepared for that. But what we offer is not only the experience, but a different touch than the large brands. Just the hospitality consulting company I used to work for before, was very, very small. But what we offered was a specific skill set that big brands didn't offer, and I think that's kind of how boutique hotels fit in. They have different clientele that, doesn't necessarily want that big brand atmosphere or just, I think they can bring in chefs that want to participate in NFTs just as easily as, a big Marriott. They just have to implement it a little bit differently. And when you're touching on the large scale aspect of like operating system switching to the blockchain, obviously that's probably, we're probably talking 10 years away from that. If we're talking about a Marriott switching to blockchain operations, or say an open table reservation system switching to blockchain operations. Of course, we want to see that in the future, but it's definitely just a ways out.
No, 100%. Like I do, yeah, I think that that is where we call a consumer mass adaptation, right? Because hospitality is like a sector which is embedded in everybody's life, right? Whether you're ordering DoorDash or you fucking going out to eat, everything is curated with hospitality. Like it's all about being hospitable. So, like I think that this is one profession or this is one industry that is going to dominate the future of Web3 if like we get the right kind of people with the right mindset right now, having those early builders that are looking to that. And like honestly, I heard about you through somebody else, and I was actually really happy to find out that there's other people that are trying to like come up with these ideas of having like a hospitality and a metaverse kind of a thing. So actually I'm really happy to actually know you or meet you or speak to you actually.
Well, thanks, Sonny. I appreciate the
Hey,
support, and thanks for jumping up on here. And yeah, we're here every Tuesday at 4, and hope you come back. And everyone here within the hospitality and NFT industry is doing it the right way. So, that's the crowd we want to belong to. And yeah, thank you again for the support. Much appreciated.
I bleed food. I have spent almost 18 years of my life working in French kitchens, so I'm all about hospitality.
Hey, can I say
Sweet.
something here?
Yeah, jump on in.
T-Bar.
Tyler, what's up?
Yeah, hey. Um, I don't normally jump in, but I felt like I had some things I could bring to the table that I can kind of clarify for you, Sonny, and then possibly Kipto as well.
Yeah, we'd love to hear
Something
from
I've
you.
been working on. Yeah, something I've been working on for the last 5 years. I mean, as far as actually gathering data, since 2018, we've been capturing a lot of this data already for this space with a partner of mine. Different softwares that have been built. And we're basically coming mainly from the consumption side of it. So in sorry about that. In the space to where you're consuming cannabis, we've been gathering a lot of this data for setting up a liaison experience within the metaverse. So a partner of mine in a bunch of different groups that we have in Compound Industries, we've been putting together this type of experience for quite a few number of years now, and we're trying to take it into the metaverse out of a physical space. We have some different properties within the metaverse and in different major metropolitan cities that we've been building out for something like this exactly. So kind of like what you were talking about, crypto, mentioning being able to use an NFT, kind of like your gateway card into your experience. So somebody that's versed in what you're trying to do within the real world or in the metaverse, how it's just kind of overlapping, and they're going to just be able to have an opportunity to gel together now.
Yeah, I think that's definitely how we onboard. It's got to be an overlap of Web 2 and Web 3 to a certain point. Not everything can be decentralized, especially within hospitality. You need different people to to help out on both aspects of it. It can't all be in the metaverse. We all need that interaction in the real world as well.
Right.
But yeah, shoot me a message with what you're working on, and we can discuss that further for sure.
Yeah, I'll say to Crypto and to Sunny, like I said, if you guys check out Cannabis Scope, David is the CEO of the company, started it. In several years, we started talking about this, and we were able to bring a lot of other creators to the table to be able to bring all what we're working on together to work and interact together. And I'd like to share that within the groups that are interested in more about that, because we've been doing it for like gathering the data for about 5 years so far. So we have a good following to be able to give a good understanding of where this is going.
Sweet, yeah. I just followed you. Shoot me a DM, and we can discuss that further here.
Cool, that would be great, huh?
Yeah, for sure. Thanks for coming up, and thanks for the support. Thanks, Tyler. Appreciate it.
Yeah, for sure.
Jello, how you doing today? I see your hand up there for a little bit.
Hey, how you doing, guys?
Good, man. Good. Yourself?
Good. I'm very good, and I've been listening since the start. I just kind of wanted to touch up on what Sonny told us on how we're gonna be able to compete on these Michelin star chefs and like high ranking hotels, you know. But well, he has some major points, but I think 'cause I'm a chef as well. I've been doing this for 15 years, and I am not a Michelin star, but I built my career throughout experience. It's all about the experience. And the restaurant that I am managing right now is called Meisu, um, which is we're putting out real good food. We are actually just voted as one of the top 12 restaurant here in Charleston by Open Table, which is very very good. I'm really proud of it because we didn't even know that whoever's writing the the blog is there. But with that said, I think there is some things we can do to compete with them. It's all about for me. It's all about experience. Like Meisu Vibe is it's all about high energy. We're playing like 2000s hip hop, 2000s R&B. We have a lot of art all over the place. Like it's a modern Mexican and sushi place. Like a lot of people think that we do a fusion, but we're not. We have our Mexican side and we have sushi side, and both we're producing real good food. Um, Even though we are not a Michelin star, like some chefs that are trying to be in an NFTs, I think we can compete when it comes to like experience, right? Um, like what we can bring to the table, what kind of experience, because we have a lot of bachelorette party comes to our restaurant and always enjoys it because of the energy that we put out. And I think that is as a manager, as an executive chef of that restaurant, I am proud of it. Like this is the kind of restaurant I want to put out, and that is the experience I want to put out to every single customers that comes into our door and try to dine in. And I think with that said, we can also do that with Metaverse hospitality. We can create our own image or our own energy vibe and then concentrate on that and be the best in that area.
Yeah, exactly.
And,
So
and
Jello is our meta chef for Metaverse Hospitality, and I think where you're trying to go with that is, every brand kind of needs its identity. So
identity,
all
yes, correct.
three of our hotels have their own individual identity. Kind of like a five-star hotel versus a Waffle House. Both are absolutely amazing, but they have completely different identities. Waffle House is a completely different vibe than your five-star hotel. It's whatever your guest is
Exactly.
looking for, and you
And also,
deliver on what they're looking for.
once we find the market that our hotels is gonna be perfect in, then it's just a breeze. It's just like people that in that market will always be choosing Metaverse hospitality for a specific reason. And that specific reason, of course, we're gonna be able to identify it um, in the time in time. We can't really identify it immediately, but once we start rolling, we will quickly realize what kind of hotel or what kind of services are we best putting out there. That's
Yeah,
it.
exactly. Setting the standard, really. Being an example first. Thank you, Jill. I appreciate the thoughts.
Yes, sir.
No matter how you doing today, thank you for coming out.
What's up, T4?
How
I'm not
are you?
sure if I'm not sure if everybody can hear me. I'm actually on the highway in Honduras, so I might not have the best signal, but I just wanted to hop in and say hello to everybody. I have a couple points on what you guys have been talking about. I think my main point is on the competition side of how different restaurants and different establishments are going to be able to compete with Michelin star chefs. I think you're not going to need to compete. What I think is actually happening in the NFT space, or what I wish would be happening in the NFT space, is you're going to see a transition which is basically very similar to what happened with Instagram and Twitter, where you and let me ask you this: did a central government or POTUS or a president need an Instagram account 5 years ago? You didn't see that. Like a central bank or any type of bank, they didn't have an Instagram account. They didn't need an Instagram account to be relevant in the world and actually gain more clients. So what I think is going to happen is eventually you're going to merge from all these different social medias into an NFT project for every single business out there. Just like in the past, a president didn't need an Instagram account to be relevant, um, or even to get their news across. You can see Donald Trump that he tweets his thoughts, through Twitter. That's where you get Donald Trump info. So you're going to be able to actually have a project in every business, and that's going to be the new social media platform for the business. I think that that's a way that businesses are actually, innovating and actually getting their loyal fan base to have benefits. And I mean, it's even 100% more effective than having a post that gets 20,000 likes. It's more effective to have 1,000 loyal customers that have your NFT than having a post on Instagram that has 20,000 or even 100,000 likes. So what I think is not, I think it's not going to be a competition. I think it's going to be more of a merge into the new social media age, which is going to be NFT projects for every business.
100%. Very good point. Yeah. I mean, thinking about 10 years ago when Instagram and social media wasn't even a thing, you never saw business pages for Instagram accounts for, yeah, those type of restaurants and hotels and everything. And now you have to have it. So,
Yeah,
yeah, that's
exactly.
a huge,
I mean,
huge point.
Instagram and Twitter and all that stuff used to be, and I even remember me saying that. I mean, I personally said, like my little brother had an Instagram, and that was like for kids and stuff. And you could see memes and stuff, and you didn't really take it seriously. Now, if you want to have any type of exposure in the world, you need an Instagram account, you need a Twitter, now you need a TikTok. And eventually, I think 5, 10 years from now, even shorter, a shorter time frame because of the learning curve and how it's going right now, I think it's going to be 2 or 3 years until every business needs an NFT project. So that's the same logic that we used in our project. Is basically we were building a restaurant, for about a year now, and we said, how do we actually get a loyal fan base? So we basically merged what you see in Soho House, which is a concept that you can see for years prior. But what you're basically doing right now is you can now sell your and make a profit from it. So you're basically getting a loyal fan base that can actually make a profit from being a member of your restaurant. And if you're gonna go out Miami and you have one of our passes, you're gonna choose our restaurant over any other restaurant. So that's basically what we're trying to do as a business, and of course provide that validity and that benefit. So it's actually 4 years.
Oh, 100%. We were losing you a little bit, Nomada, but just to follow up on that, so Nomada is a local restaurant in Miami, but you're building a community worldwide, right? So
Yeah,
how
exactly.
how do you involve that worldwide community, for a local restaurant? And I think that's, something to hit on, what something else these boutique hotels or say boutique restaurant could offer versus a large Marriott brand or a hotel chain restaurant, that is a little bit of everywhere.
Right. Yeah. I mean, what we're basically trying to do is create a community where you're going to be able to host events, chef meetups, and chef master classes all around the world. We are going to have our main venue in Miami, Coral Gables, but and we're in final stage of build out right now. But we're we're basically trying to build, a community where you can have master chef classes all around the world. You can have parties all around the world with our same name. And if you're a member, you're definitely going to be able to, access a networking event, access cooking classes, access different concerts. We're actually partnering up with a company that does concerts with huge artists, Bad Bunny and all that stuff. And we're going to use our pass to be able to give discounts, give free tickets. It's a whole community. But what I think the main point behind the worldwide community is now you have a new way of raising money and giving back benefits to the people that helped you raise the money. Before, you only had, for example, crowdfunding, where you had something like GoFundMe, where you were actually pre-selling a product, right? So you weren't actually raising money; you were actually getting pre-sale orders, and you had to fulfill those orders. So you're not getting money up front; you're just getting money to buy the product, actually develop it, and sell it. So you're getting pre-orders. What you have right now is a way of raising money and having a loyal community, and that money can go 100% towards a roadmap like we're doing. We invested in the first venue 100% out of pocket. We're raising money from the first venue in our NFT project, and we're going to create a second venue with that initial raise. So you obviously have to invest first, and then you can raise money and actually create a second venue from what you raised. So that's the way we're trying to expand worldwide.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, that's a very good point. It's kind of like the new startup, instead of IPOs, it's dropping in an NFT. But at the same time, like you said, you have to have that back end, that work that's already put in, rather than just
Yeah.
launching a project and going for it. You have
Yeah, I
to.
think that's a bubble. I mean, what you're seeing right now, where you have a lot of people launching products and launching NFT collections and just having a roadmap, a website, and a cool art. That's a bubble. I think honestly, that's going to explode pretty quickly. I think that's not going to last that long. You're going to need to have something solid eventually, some investment, some background, something solid to show your holders to be actually successful in the NFT market in a couple of months, maybe in the next year. But what we're doing is we invested 700,000 into the first venue. We're in final stage build out, so our holders aren't going to have to wait, a year for us to open the first venue. And now we're launching the NFT project. So we've been working on permits, we've been working on the build out, the design, the menu. We have everything ready. We're launching the NFT project now that we have everything. We're 2 or 3 months away from opening. So once we open, our holders are gonna, be able to go and show off their passes, have secret menus, have, parties and stuff. So I think that's gonna have to be the way that NFT projects go in a couple of months or maybe a year. You're gonna have to have something solid. You're gonna have to have a good investment, a good team, and not just, the art and the website.
Yeah, 100%. Gotta have a company, not just a project. It's got to be all
Yeah,
the above.
exactly. Yeah.
Hey, could I just say something? No matter.
Jump
I
on
Sure,
in.
think
yeah.
I think we need. This is Tyler speaking. I think we need to talk further about what you're doing, because I'm currently working on that side as far as everything that you're talking about in our actual world, we're doing in the metaverse currently. So the
Awesome.
overlapping between that, I actually just got off a call before this, and we're in the development of that currently. We've been working on it for a while, since 2018, and I really think what you're doing could be spot on with what we're incorporating in the metaverse. Basically, taking that whole experience and putting it into the metaverse and having a crossover and an exchange in between both worlds.
Awesome. Let's
Yeah.
talk. Yes. Shoot us a DM and yeah, let's set up a meeting and I'll have the team talk about the different possibilities. We're open to any collabs and stuff that we can get right now. And yeah, we're basically trying to partner up with different projects. For example, TFAR, we're incredibly, I think you just received our proposal, but we're incredibly interested in having, Board Ape Yacht Club owners host events and have their NFT projects launch at our venue. We want to have screens at our venue that display your NFTs. One very interesting part that we're going to have for different NFT projects is we're going to have screens on every single table, and you're going to be able to actually make an offer from one table to the other, where you're going to connect your wallet, and that can be tricky. You have to definitely have a security system that we're working on for people to actually disconnect their wallet automatically when they leave the table. But you're going to be able to connect your wallet into a mini screen at your table, display an NFT, and actually make an offer. If you liked an NFT from across the room, you're going to be able to make an offer from your table. And that's going to be a very interesting and innovative process in the whole hospitality industry in Miami. And yeah, we definitely want to be merging into the metaverse. We already talked with TFAR about, having our restaurant in his hotels and stuff. So we're working on that stuff, and that's incredible to hear people in this Twitter space, be interested in that aspect. So yeah, let's talk.
Are you
Yeah, for
talking
sure.
are you talking QR code type of getting into the system? I think that would be probably the most recognizable and easiest way for people to adopt getting into an NFT off of a screen or some type of system that's already in somebody else's space.
Right.
Transferring that
Yeah.
information is going to be very difficult for people that are holding any type of crypto wallet. I know
Yeah.
that the reservation on that is probably going to be a 70% reservation. So you're only going to be able to capture 30% of the people that are willing to do that. That's going to be a
Yeah.
stretch. I think the easiest way for us to be able to do that is to incorporate that into people that are already in the metaverse and doing
Hey
that
Tyler, let's
transaction
hit it.
in.
Let's hit on the details of the deal on
Yeah,
a private DM. I think that'd be best for the space at the moment.
sure,
Yeah.
for sure, for sure.
I
I'm
appreciate you coming up
all,
though. I think
yeah,
Crypto Carl
all
had
I
his
was
name up for a little while.
all I was
Yeah.
mentioning
Hey guys,
was
how are you?
transactions too.
Oh, sorry. I think I've never been on this space before. I work for Travelers, Travelers Club down in Mexico, and I've been listening to all of your input, and I think that the next big thing right now would be private blockchains. I don't know if you've ever heard of private blockchains. It's essentially, every business can have their own private blockchain, and they can manage the, details that really require privacy. Like, for example, many of you guys are talking about making profiles for your customers, and that can have, sensitive information like things that in their rooms or in their food, allergies, things that tend to be private sometimes. And I think private blockchains would be the best way to go for that sort of information. And maybe create like a bridge so you can bridge your profile from blockchain to blockchain. So let's say that, for example, Travelers, um, if we have an NFT within Travelers with a profile of your customer, you could bridge it over to Nomada, you could bridge it over to Sunny's project as well. And we could create like a big community and get all the hotels, the restaurants, and hospitality companies, get them all together and really become something that Marriott would have to be afraid of, because I think that's what blockchain is doing right now. It's sort of reorganizing the economy and giving smaller players a fighting chance against huge corporations and companies that have been around for hundreds of years, like Hilton, Marriott. It's almost a 100-year company you're talking about, and that's actually a huge strength for blockchain and for boutique hotels and restaurants. And it's really something to think about. If you know if it's done correctly, it could really become something huge.
Yeah, I agree. That's a tough task, of course. So, with where technology is at right now, and implementing that for people to trust. I think even today we saw some compromises of not everything from NFTs to entire exchanges being compromised. So I think we're still far ways away from that. And someone like Marriott, they probably have the money and the power to get that done before someone like us can. So on our end, it's not a focus at the moment, to be honest. But I think that should be looked at.
Uh,
What we're looking at is how we can assist within our specialty. And that's just if someone I think comes up with that as their specialty and brings everyone together. That's a great offer.
just I don't want to cut you off, but just to back up to what Crypto was just saying, I know for a fact that HEI is looking into that model. I work for HEI, and I've like spoken to a lot of people in corporate, and they have started to toy with it. I think they are looking into getting. So they work with a company called what's the name of it? It's a company out of Arizona, and it's a Web3 development company, just like Rapid Innovation is that made the Wall Street bets, the Satoshi Swap, and Gary Vee's VFriends. So it's a company similar to that, and they're the ones that are trying with it. So what he was saying of like private blockchains and having like, like a company like that which manages like 90 hotels, you can certainly see that happening, like something with Marriott, which has like 2,500 hotels all across the world. So I think in the next 6 years, we should see something like that totally come up.
Yeah, for sure. It's going to be super exciting in the way the space evolves, obviously within hospitality, but Web3 as a whole, there's going to be so many changes, especially within 5
Oh,
years
dude,
from
I'm
now.
excited for the future
Technology.
so much.
It is crazy how fast we're going, how fast this space moves. Just to do a little review of how the next couple months are going to work. I don't know if you all are aware, but April is Autism Awareness Month. Our partnership with Culture City is going to be highlighted on next week's Twitter Space. So Tuesday the 5th, we're going to have some representatives from Culture City to come on that have dealt with autism their whole lives and kind of want to come into the space and into the Web3 space and let us know their story, how Culture City kind of brought the confidence out of them and made a safe place for everyone. And just a review on what Culture City is, they offer sensory inclusive rooms within, say, concert venues, NBA basketball games, any type of sporting event, any type of event that is just a little too much to the senses. It's a small room that is comfortable, is quiet. It makes you feel safe. Just a little breakaway space from crazy events. Really, we're offering these rooms in the metaverse, but this next week, Tuesday, we're gonna kind of let everyone know what Culture City is about, what they're doing in the real world, and how we are implementing, a safe space for the metaverse. We want to include everybody, and we want this to, be the start of kind of a mental health awareness month. We're gonna throughout April, Autism Awareness Month, we're gonna touch on a few different aspects of mental health, and including everyone. That's going to be a big point of our ethos and our hotels, is that it's a space for everybody. We want to make everyone feel included. With that being said, anybody gotta touch on anything before we wrap up? All right. Well, thank you all for coming by. This is going to be every Tuesday, 4:00. Like I said, next week we're gonna touch on Culture City, mental health within the Web3 space. Thank you all for coming by, and we hope to see you next week.
Thanks, man. Good to be
Thanks,
here.
T4.